Farm life is so full of surprises. Farm animals, despite being unbelievably adorable, can be quite unpredictable and at times too friendly. On the other hand, people can sometimes be too careless when dealing with nature that they end up endangering themselves. This means living on a farm or even visiting one for a limited time can make for some hilarious times, some of which are fortunately immortalized and captured on film. Here are some of the best, funniest farm fails that we are lucky to be able to watch over and over again. Before we begin, don't forget to comment, subscribe, and switch on notifications. Number 1. This is how I kiss. See what happens when this father and son tandem get way too close to a lovely doe? For a moment, it seemed that the gentle beast was just giving the dad some smooches, but he must have put on a little too much aftershave, making the animal sneeze and spit all over his beard and face. Good thing animals can't get coronavirus. Wait, right? Next up, tag, you're it. Now check out this girl who went all out with a cowboy boots and hat that don't even look like they've been broken in. This looks like her first time on a farm, which is why we're confused as to why she thought it would be a great idea to try and catch a chicken. If you're watching this thinking that it can be hard to catch a bird that doesn't even fly that high, think again, because it's one thing to chase a chicken and another thing to be chased by one. Hear those screams? Those are screams of pure terror, and reaction of that black dog is everything. Next up, but I want brunch too. When on a farm, your guard must always be up against rowdy farm animals, and you better leave that guard up even when you're just snacking in the farm cafe, especially when there are hungry baby goats around, because unlike house dogs, they won't just beg for food with their puppy eyes. When goats get hungry, they will eat by hook or by crook. Humans be damned. Next up, Rockabye chicken. Have you ever seen a hen resting on the head of a horse while the horse rocks it up and down as if trying to put it to sleep? No? Well, now you have. Next, hair stylist extraordinaire. The next time you're looking for a low-budget hairdresser for an important event, just head on over to the nearest farm and let the stylish horses do your hair. Absolutely free. But be forewarned, they won't be as gentle or friendly as your usual stylist. Next up, black sheep indeed. She is literally the black sheep of the family for disturbing everybody's Sunday morning peace. Worse, it seems like her attitude is rubbing off on that adorable white lamb too. Next up, farm animals being mean to kids. There must be something about kids that irk farm animals on a deeper level. Just watch how this fully grown rooster slammed this toddler so hard when she was just trying to be friendly. And check out this baby goat practicing its magnificent headbutt on this unsuspecting baby. This other kid even hit his precious little face on a metal fence after getting body slammed by a feisty goat. Hopefully these little ones won't grow up to be too distrusting of animals because of these hilarious farm experiences. Next up, not all of us are evil though. That's right, not all farm animals are evil to kids. Take this baby goat for instance. He loves the human girl so much he would copy anything she did, even slam headfirst to a concrete wall like Harry Potter and Ron in the second book. In case you think this is just a mere coincidence, watch as the dynamic duo did it again. Next up, that's not how you drive. Sometimes humans don't even need farm animals to come up with ridiculous farm fails. Take for instance this guy who skipped his mini tractor driving lessons. Hopefully the swamp wasn't too unforgiving that day. And what about this young lady bringing down an entire fence down with her? You're gonna have to pay for that, miss. Next up, that went a lot better in his head. If you want to find out what it feels like to dive headfirst into a pool full of grain, you're gonna have to ask this kid. It looks like it feels awesome though. Next, a little warning would have been nice. Sometimes in life, we see videos of unfortunate accidents and all we can think about is how it could have been prevented if the person filming just said something or gave the other person a heads up. Just like this farm fail of a girl having the time of her life running inside one of those concrete barrels that roll. Her mother presumably kept on filming and filming without taking the time to advise her daughter that she's about to crash into something. And when she finally did, the mom could only say, uh-oh. Next, well, thanks for giving my hat back. This boy desperately wanted to get his cowboy hat back, but the horse just wasn't ready to do that. That's when the boy thought of an ingenious idea. He slid down and eased his head into the hat, even though the gentle beast was hell-bent on keeping it. Upon seeing that the boy wasn't ready to let go of his hat, the horse finally returned the hat and sheepishly grinned at the person filming as if to say, you won, happy now? But not all farm animals are willing to look past the finders keepers rule. Next up, sock it up. While the horse was gracious enough to give the boy's cowboy hat back, these chickens could never let go of the single white sock they got from this poor boy. The entire coop even fought for dominion over the single sock, and when one white chicken emerged as the winner, it refused to even acknowledge the little boy who just wanted his sock back. Next up, the fabled cow poop pile. For little kids, the best playground is a mound to climb on, as if it's some sort of mini mountain. But careful mounting mounds in the farm, lest you end up with the same misfortune as this adorable young man, who was super proud to have found such a large hill until he was very kindly informed that it was actually a large hill of cow poop. He was so disappointed. All he could do was grab a handful of the fabled cow poop and throw it to the person who burst his bubble. Next up, the overly eager cow. You know how most people end up in blooper reels because of their unsuccessful attempts to mount a farm animal? Well, this woman has the opposite problem, since the gigantic beast behind her seems to be hellbent on getting her on its back. Check out how easily the cow can lift her up in the air. Absolutely incredible. If she was not able to hold on to those railings, who knew what would have happened? Next up, look, a cowboy dog. This is one of those instances where no one would believe the story ever if it hadn't been caught on camera. At first, this dog seems to be very aggressive, as if it wants to pick a fight with these cows, which are at least 4 times his size. Then it became increasingly clear what his goal was. See how he managed to mount the back of that cow with one swift motion? Yep, this dog has everything it takes to be the next great cowboy of its era. Cow dog boy. Okay, next up, honey, I think I broke the horse. We think this might be the first time this horse is discovering that he has a tongue. According to the farm girl taking the video, she's been doing this flappy thing with his tongue for 2 minutes straight. Kinda reminds us of Adam Sandler in Click with his belly flap, no? Next up, epic farm prank. Now check out how these fully grown goats got the best of their caretaker, who loved them so much he even used his own back as a stepping stone so goats can go up on the roof. But the second goat apparently had no plans of going on the roof and only wanted to stay on the poor man's back. And when he finally got off, the first goat, who was already on the roof, hopped back and took its place on the farmer's back. Hilarious. Next up, instant karma. Sometimes farm animals can take on a mean tone just because humans were mean to them first. Take for instance this farm showman who thought it would be a great idea to spank a cow inside of a barn full of other cows. See how fast and how painful karma came for him? That's what you get for being a dingus. Next up, just farm animals being silly all by themselves. Sometimes though, animals don't really need humans to have epic fail moments of their own. Just take a look at this horse and his rubber chicken, or this poor stud bunny trying to make babies with a hen. Good thing the chicken didn't think to pluck his you-know-what. Next up, you brought that one upon yourself, man. Have you ever dreamed of performing a headstand while mounted on a horse? If yes, my only question is, why? Even this horse seemed to pity the guy who almost broke his back trying to achieve such an eccentric feat. Next up, misbehaving mud. A lot of epic farm fails happen when people are too careless or when they're too daring to try action star stunts that are way too difficult for their level of physicality. And then there are some accidents that happen just because the farm seems to hate us all. Just like what happened to this poor guy who wasn't even trying to slide or jump around this muddy swamp. He was actually being very careful, standing on a relatively dry part of the swampy waters, when he suddenly fell over as his friend proudly announced that he caught everything on video. Unbelievable. Now that you've seen this top hilarious farm fails, do you think it's still a great idea to spend your retirement years in a farm upstate? Do ya? Thanks for watching and see you next time.